Hi, welcome to the latest edition of At Home with Luxury Dream Holidays. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Julia from one of our great tour operators we work with, Latin Routes. I'll let Julia introduce herself and to tell you a little bit about the company and then sit back and relax and we'll talk you through Latin America.
Great. Hi. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited. I thought any opportunity to talk about Latin America, I'm right here. I'm the business development executive at Latin Routes. We're an incredible tour operator. We just work with Central and South America, and we also do expedition cruising in Antarctica. I started working at the company about 4 years ago now, and we've had a great relationship since I've been there. And honestly, it's just the most incredible area of the world. And I say to everyone, before I started working at Latin Routes, I'd never been to Latin America. And I'm going to hold my hands up and say I didn't have much interest. I didn't think it was for me. I thought, I don't know. I prefer to lie on a beach and do nothing. Well, I was very wrong. Since then, I have been out so many times to Latin America. It's the most incredibly diverse area of the world you will ever go to. You've got mountains, glaciers, deserts. It's amazing, the wildlife, and it draws you in.
By the way that your social media looks, you're there pretty much most of the time. Envious, but all the same, essential so that obviously you know what you're doing, and that everybody is the same, I presume, well trained. And when we call through to look at your own itinerary, the guys are absolutely amazing in giving us little tips and ideas about what it's best to do. So when did you start, or where did you start your journey in sort of South America? What was the first place you went to? What made you fall in love with it?
So I came in as a trainee, and the deal was you complete the traineeship, you learn everything about Latin America, about how to create these tailor-made bespoke itineraries, and then you go to Costa Rica. So Costa Rica was my first destination. I think one of the most iconic ones to start with. It's our best seller, so it was the best one to visit first. Oh, it blew me away. It was all about nature and wildlife. So we were out there, and the first day we went to Tortuguero, and I remember we were walking on the beaches where the turtles had laid their eggs, and it was incredible. We've got our little turtle mic here as well. Very casual. And we were walking along the beach, and you could see where the turtles had come up. We didn't see any. Well, we saw a few little ones, but that was it. And then we went into the jungle, and it felt like we were in Jurassic Park. And that was it. Completely blew me away. We went into Arenal, where the volcano was, experienced a bit of culture there and a bit of nature and wildlife as well. And
I think the diversity of things to do is absolutely incredible in the whole region, and people don't really come through, or very rarely come through, maybe for Costa Rica, but it's usually the fact that we've gone, okay, you've liked this in the past, just have a little look, we'll put together an itinerary, see whether or not you fancy doing Belize, and or whether you want to do Colombia or somewhere else, and then that just sparks somebody's imagination.
Oh, absolutely.
And obviously working with you guys, you do just do the best itineraries for the customers at the right pace and seeing everything that they should see.
And that's what tailor-made's about. It's
So Costa Rica, where did it go from there?
Then we went to Manuel Antonio on the coast.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. So the hotels are all slightly further back up on the cliff. So it's not your average beach stay where the beach is littered with sunbeds and hotels and resorts. Nothing like that at all. It's slightly higher up on the cliff, so you still get the wildlife. The national park, the best place. We saw humpback whales in the distance. Phenomenal. I'd never seen one in my life. There was monkeys. We went swimming in the national park. Once I got over my fear of fish, it was great. Okay. If you love snorkeling, amazing. Just an abundance of fish in the national park. That was our little route. We did Osa Peninsula as well, which is the most
beautiful,
incredible. It's the most biodiverse place in Costa Rica. It's such a small area, so the wildlife is just so condensed.
I remember the first time I sent somebody to Costa Rica, she messaged me nearly every day saying, this is just like a Disney theme park. And I'm like, really? Thinking,
that's not a compliment.
She's like, No, just full of animals. Like full of wildlife. Every corner you might have a snake or a spider or
absolutely
a sloth hanging above you that might come down this week or it might not.
You've got the howler monkeys at night. We were in our hotel room and I was thinking, what's that? That sounds like a dinosaur. There was a howler monkey. It was amazing.
Where else in South America and that sort of area, where else do you absolutely love?
It's so hard because every time I go on a trip, I come back and my manager goes, how was it? And I go, best place ever. I go, this was my favourite. And she said, you said that about the last one and the last one. Yeah. So I find it so hard when people say, but standout. I recently got back from Peru and Bolivia. I don't know why I held it off for so long. There were so many other places I wanted to go before Peru.
Is that the unknown, though? Is that everybody knows of Machu Picchu, but actually, that seems like a long way away, and it's a long way to go for just that site. But there's so much more to offer.
Yeah, exactly. And I always thought, I've done Costa Rica. I'm a wildlife girl now. And well, don't get me wrong, Peru's got the Amazon. My itinerary wasn't wildlife based, but Peru has got the Amazon. When we got there, it just blew me away, and it doesn't get enough attention. Yeah. I loved Lima. I thought Lima was one of my favourite cities I've ever done in South America, and I love Buenos Aires. It takes a lot to beat that in Argentina.
Okay.
And I think it crept up. It was nearly there. And then we went into Arequipa, into the desert, see the Colca Canyon. I know you love your birds.
Yep, absolutely.
15 condors we saw swooping in the canyon, and they just come right down in front of your face. You feel the wind when they go past you. It's
But I think that's because, wildlife is not disturbed. Well, it is to some extent, but actually they're just not frightened of just doing what they do naturally. So where would you say is good for what? Because I've heard you before, we've done training academies with you, and it's just absolutely fascinating. Can you give us a little rundown about each place? Not all of them, obviously.
But, we'd be here for a few hours.
What is something good for? You've said about Argentina. You like Buenos Aires. Why do you like it? What is it famous for? What actually should we be looking at if somebody comes to us and says we're real foodies or we're real wildlife people, we like adventure? Can you give us a quick rundown?
Yeah, so the first one that springs to mind, I always say, clients who love, or people who love New Zealand, Canada, they've just done that style of trip. They love the mountains. They want to do self-drive. They want lakes, just to immerse themselves in national parks. Chile and Argentina and Patagonia, that region down in the south, 100%, they're going to love it. It's all about the national parks. You've got Torres del Paine National Park, where there's just towering mountains everywhere you go. You stay in a lovely little secluded lodge in the middle of the national park. And every day you go out and about and you go on a different trek, a different adventure. There's something for all abilities, all levels. And I think it gives you that good taste of that mountain life, and you can do it self-drive or transfer. And then I say for clients who love culture, Peru, for me, was number one. It's all about the food. They're like the Italians of South America with their food. Okay. They are so proud of it. And from the second you land, it's just great quality food. The people are so friendly. They're just like, you need to try this. You need to do this. And I just thought everyone was really helpful and welcoming. And you've got that Incan culture as well. So you've got the contrast in Peru of the kind of modern day Catholic country it is now versus the Incan civilizations in Cusco and the little ruins. So I think that's a good one for culture lovers.
Excellent. Yeah. Food lovers?
Oh yeah, food lovers as well. Peru. Argentina though is my favourite. Everyone's going to tell you Peru, I'm going to tell you Argentina, because imagine just sitting on a vineyard eating steak and drinking red wine all day. I mean, I can't think of anything better. Literally, I can't think of anything better than that. You just sit there and you've got the Andes, the vineyard, you right there with your bottomless wine, bottomless steak. It's brilliant. I love it.
Excellent. Yeah. Where else is a standout place for you?
I think, and I'm just going to have to say it, for wildlife lovers, Antarctica. Absolutely amazing. Expedition cruising in Antarctica is huge right now.
The thing is that used to be somewhere that was not attainable for the average person.
Yeah.
And yet nowadays, you're just finding people are finding the money to go there. I wonder whether that's because they're worried it won't be there in the future. But, I mean, that's something that we can do something about. But I just think it's incredible that if you want to go on an expedition cruise, there's loads of options out there. Where have you done? So the obvious. Galapagos.
Yeah. That was that was hard to beat. To me, that's a safari. Galapagos is a safari by sea, and if you want to do safari, there's no reason why Galapagos doesn't fall into that brief. Yeah. We went on a little ship, I couldn't even call it a ship. I have to call it a yacht. It was that small, and we went around different islands every single day. And to have the privilege of being alone on an island, just you and maybe the 6 other people that have come with you from the boat.
Yeah.
And
something
it's just
quite special.
It's amazing. The connection you get with nature is unlike any other. And I say to people, as well as having this amazing holiday, very relaxing, all about wildlife, nature, you also get the education of a lifetime where you finally realise this is what we need to protect. This is what we need to do. It was like what you were saying earlier.
But then we started with, other expedition trips as well. So where else do people venture to? What's really popular at the minute?
So we've got Galapagos, we've got Antarctica, Amazon River cruises as well. It's really starting to increase. And I think it's probably one of the best ways to explore the Amazon, especially in the Peruvian part. And you access it way deeper when you go by cruise.
Talking to you the other day, when we were doing a bit of a training, and you were saying that actually nobody really thinks about the Peruvian side of the Amazon. No. But actually, that is the better side to see.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And to take to the water and just leisurely cruise. I had a customer once who canoed up the Amazon and slept in a hammock, which was a bit extreme.
Incredible. We can do that. We can do that. That's amazing. That's the new luxury to some people. That's amazing.
But when you say that, luxury to people means so many different things.
Oh yeah.
And I think in like my parents' generation, luxury was going on the QE2 or that sort of thing, and then maybe my generation now is about going to these beautiful hotels, going and flying flopping, being totally spoiled. But I think the younger market now, their luxury is actually experiential trips, and their luxury is going to see wildlife, in all sorts of different destinations. Do you find that in general? That's what people want?
Yeah, I've found the trends have changed recently. And because we do this tailor-made bespoke, we love niche itineraries.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that luxury, it's just like you said, it's not the fanciest hotel, the most expensive bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to the most remote place in the Amazon rainforest and seeing a certain species that no one's really seen before, or stepping foot on Antarctica, a continent that people only dream of seeing. And I think that's luxury to a lot of our kind of the South America clientele. And it's,
dare I say, David Attenborough, he's opened up this world recently to everybody.
Oh yeah.
All his life he's been trying to show people that's what's out there. But the difference is now you can get there, and you can get there comfortably, and you can go and have all the experiences that you want.
Yeah.
But that means working with people like you and I that actually know our way round, because
things can go wrong. Yeah. Peru's the prime example of that. If you are rushing Peru, I actually did a little test recently, and I thought, right, how at risk, people are saying they're booking their holidays based on AI, on ChatGPT, and I thought, right, let's see. So I said to ChatGPT exactly what you would come and say to your local travel agent. I said, I want 2 weeks in Peru. This is what I'm interested in. This is where I went last. The itinerary was awful. It had me at 5,000 meters one day, and then it had me at sea level the next day, and then 2 days later back up 3,000 meters, and then I was sleeping. I put here, and then I was sleeping for about an hour a night, and then it was madness. And I thought, no, I just think with places like this, it's long haul, it's far away from home. Come to the experts who know exactly how to guide you.
Come to the experts who have run up a mountain. At a high altitude, because I believe that's something that you did once.
Oh yeah, that wasn't fun. I got a bit confident actually in Ecuador. I was in Cotopaxi, and I forgot I told you this story. I don't like being told no, so the guide was like, you need to take it easy, and I should have listened to him, but I was little old me. I was like, nope. So I ran up the volcano. It was Cotopaxi volcano in the national park in Ecuador. I ran straight up to the top, and I was like, haha, look at me, I made it to the top.
And then you couldn't breathe.
And then I ran down, and I fainted. So always listen to the guides.
Absolutely.
But they're brilliant. I found this time round in Peru, every excursion, they were like, we're going to take it at a slow pace. We're going to work you up slowly. Have you drank this amount of water today? They were so supportive.
Yeah.
And everyone reacts different. So I wouldn't let altitude put anyone off a trip, especially when you've got our incredible guides and our guidance as well. So
you talk about somewhere like Colombia, you know, everybody always has an impression of Colombia that actually nowadays, you know, is just not as it is.
No.
Coffee, is that the new trend in Colombia? You know, you loved it. I know when you went. What made that special for you?
I would say with Colombia, it's always the destinations where, like you said, you have the worst expectations of and you don't expect to enjoy, that you actually end up, it's the best trip you've ever done.
Yeah.
And I say this a lot when I meet people and I say, have you thought about Colombia? Because you've given me this brief. You've told me you want to go to Costa Rica, but this brief is Colombia. You say you want culture, you want beach, you want history, you want museums. I was like, that's Colombia. So I try and push them on Colombia and they go, no, it's too dangerous. No. And I go, okay, here we go. I'm ready with the speech. Here we go.
And believe me, you wouldn't be sending them there if it was dangerous. So,
not at all.
Just trust in what people say.
And to be able to speak to someone like our specialist, we've got so many members of the team who have done Colombia and they know it so well and they can say, well, actually, that's not true. And if you go to this restaurant in Medellin or this area. So I think with Colombia, it's got so much biodiversity. People don't know this. It's more biodiverse than Costa Rica. It has got more wildlife, more birds, more insects. It feels a little bit more untouched. So you get a more authentic feel to it. And it's got a pristine coastline, which is gorgeous. The Rosario Islands, where you can just go in for the day in the Caribbean and enjoy it. And you get that Caribbean culture crossed with a bit of Latin American culture. I think Colombia is just so interesting.
I sit here and listen to you. I feel your passion, you know, that runs right the way through Latin Roots.
Absolutely.
And that's why we absolutely love working with you guys.
Oh, brilliant.
Thank you for spending some time with us. I do need to add that no animals were harmed in the filming of this, I promise.
Got a little lizard. Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I'm really grateful. And let's get more people to Central and South America.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you.